Before I even get started, let me just say that Jerry Sandusky has been looking more and more like the Crypt Keeper every day since the last time we saw him. Now, I found this story out on Twitter, and by the time the video gets uploaded, someone will probably have sent me an email discussing it. But I went onto the trending page and I saw him trending there, and the thing that I saw was Jerry Sandusky resentenced to 32 years, which is basically the same sentence that he already got back in 2012. Let's just put it this way. Jerry Sandusky is going to die in jail. He's going to. He's not getting out. Like his level of crimes that he committed for all these years that went unpunished and unnoticed until, was it 2011? Yeah, it's not looking good at all. But this right here will let you, but that case right there in particular exposed to me how palm color, that was, I think it was at that moment where I noticed that palm colored people will get on code. That's when I really knew and found out what on code meant. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. When Jerry Sandusky got exposed, it was a lot of, I guess you can say, pushback against this, mainly on the side of Joe Paterno, who was seen as a legend at Penn State. They all came out and rallied behind him, despite the fact that Joe Paterno might have actually known what Jerry Sandusky was involved with him messing with these boys. All because he was a championship coach. And when I talk about people being on code, they got on code fast, quick, and in a hurry. They were so upset by this being uncovered. I'm like, damn, y'all was really coming to the defense of this guy who might have known, or I'm not going to say connected, but I'm just, because I don't believe he actually was involved with doing it, but I think he knew some stuff, but wasn't saying anything to protect Jerry Sandusky. And it's crazy because they did the same thing that some people will do, or depending on how you look at it, with R. Kelly. And you have them who were willing to throw all types of stones at people's way if they came out and said that R. Kelly was innocent, that R. Kelly didn't do this and everything like that. But there's actual documented proof that Jerry Sandusky has been doing this for years. I'm talking about well over a decade. But they got upset because it affected Joe Paterno. And they was pissed about that because I think he died shortly after it. And I remember when all that stuff went down. I can't really go into too much detail about that, but those of you who were around back then, which I think many of you were, remember all of that chaos that happened at Penn State back in 2011 when all of this stuff got exposed. That right there was a huge deal right there. This was the biggest thing that I think that happened that year. And then I think the next biggest thing that happened afterwards was probably Trayvon Martin. But I'm going to go ahead and get into this article and see what else we can find out. It says a judge dashed the hopes of former Penn State assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky for a shorter prison term Friday, resentencing him to the same 30 to 60 years imposed against him in 2012 for sexually abusing children. Judge Maureen Skirta gave Sandusky what prosecutors and his own attorney described as an effectively a life term during a hearing ordered this year by an appeals court. So basically, they got an appeal for this particular case right here to get a shorter sentence, at least probably one where he could serve his time and be able to get out while he's still alive. But the appeal was pretty much overruled, and now he's just going to get the same exact sentence that he already was, serving anyway. So effectively, he's going to die in jail. And there's no point of them trying to appeal it again. Sandusky's 2011 arrest prompted the firing of Hall of Fame head coach Joe Paterno, and the university has paid more than $100 million to people who said they had been abused by Sandusky. He was convicted on 45 counts of child sexual abuse in 2012. Sandusky, age 75, in a mustard yellow prison jumpsuit, again asserted his innocence Friday and choked up twice during brief remarks in open court before the sentence was handed down. I apologize that I'm unable to admit remorse for this because it's something that I didn't do. Sandusky told the judge Friday about a recent phone call with an unnamed woman who formerly worked for the Second Mile, a charity he founded for at-risk youth that he used to find and groom child victims. Sandusky said the woman ended the call by telling him she loves him. No matter what, nobody or nothing will ever be able to take away what's in my heart, and that was just one. There are many, many, many more, he said, people he had every opportunity to betray and didn't. He ended with a message to people who support him. About a dozen were in the courtroom, including his wife, Dottie. To those supporters out there, I just want to say I love you, he said, sobbing as he sat down. Prosecutor Jennifer Buck of the State Attorney General's office described problems Sandusky has had in state prison, including disputes about returning his meal tray, resistance to being moved from his cell, and complaints about phone calls. It's failure to take responsibility, claiming that he is the victim, which is a theme throughout this case, and it is his right that are being violated, Buck told the judge. Sandusky attorney Al Lindsay noted he had recently received several letters that attested to Sandusky's character and to good deeds he has performed. Buck argued that jurors believed that 8 young men who testified against Sandusky, victims she said were sexually assaulted by someone that they loved, someone that they trusted, someone that betrayed them. Attorney General Josh Shapiro said in a written statement that justice was again achieved for his victims. A state appeals court this year turned down most of Sandusky's arguments in seeking a new trial, but said laws mandating sentence minimums in place at the time of his October 2012 sentencing had since changed. Victims said at trial that Sandusky subjected them to a range of abuse from grooming to violent attacks. A victim advocate read several letters to the judge Friday from the men whom testified at the trial or their relatives. The letters described the effect of their abuse as boys and in the years since, including anxiety, difficulty with family and social relationships, and anger about what occurred. One of them, described as victim 4 in court records, said he does not forgive Sandusky and spoke to efforts to attack us as if we had done something wrong. We both know exactly what happened, victim 4 wrote. You should be ashamed of yourself. Sandusky's lawyer in October initiated a federal court action seeking a new trial or release from prison. I think it's safe to say that's not going to happen now, and he is where he should be, right amongst all the other monsters that hopefully will treat him just as bad, if not worse, as he treated those boys for all of these years. I swear, I think it's like some kind of bad element that comes out of Penn State. It seems like a lot of negative, dark energy just comes out of that school for some reason. Mind you, this is the same school where Nate Parker got accused of rape and he was acquitted. Same exact school. This is the same school where 45 went to school. And now you have this situation. Well, I hope that Sandusky gets more comfortable by the day, because that's where he's going to end his life at, right there. This is one case right here where they actually truthfully and honestly got it right. And I'm so glad they didn't overturn his conviction. I'm glad they didn't lower down his sentencing. Let the shit stick where it is and let it stay forever. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.